Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid Atlantic Championship Wrestling Review Series for the 1982 edition from the 9th of October 2000 or 1982. And again, Steamboat and Youngblood start. Actually, match is basically in progress when they start. Youngblood comes in and hits a bunch of arm drags on one of their opponents. Steamboat comes in and hits a bunch of hip tosses. They are facing off in this particular edition with White and Ernesto. Basic moves, matches here. They are getting ready for the feud with Slaughter and Kernoodle over the tag team championships that is to follow. Youngblood underneath with a drop kick and back to the arm drags, real basic stuff. Nothing necessarily to write home about, but simple enough as it is. Hard shots by Ernesto and manages to get some things under wraps, so to speak. And then we see a top rope double axe handle the from Youngblood. Steamboat comes in and manages to clean house. Some double teams, body slams, and other basic maneuvers, and a slingshot catapult with Youngblood getting the pinfall. Then we see the tandem of Wahoo McDaniel and Jack Briscoe, who have teamed up before. They basically talk about some damages caused by Greg Valentine, and of course, also showing the breaking of the leg from 79 or so of Wahoo in highlights. And of course, the return of Valentine doesn't make Wahoo very happy by any stretch of the imagination. Wahoo is laid out and promises to get revenge on Valentine and anyone associated with Humperdinck. Humperdinck having probably one of the larger stables in all of wrestling at the time. Ric Flair is out and talking about various people that he wants to fight, also endorsing Valentine. And actually, Flair cuts an amazing promo worth going out of your way to see, simply because he is talking a lot about the nature of being the world champion, carrying the 10 pounds of gold, and also endorsing just about anyone who is working with Mid Atlantic, which Flair does for the various territories at which he is competing as champion, which I don't think they do nearly enough of today in terms of making the championships seem special. We go back to the ring and we get another tag team match. Tag team heavy again this week. Some weeks are more and less tag team heavy, but Wahoo McDaniel and Roddy Piper are tagging up here. This particular contest is Timms and Dalton. Uh, just odd that they are teaming after being at odds with each other throughout the late part of 81 early 82. The Piper babyface turn is kind of in result of Humperdinck, but not exactly the greatest thing ever. But anyway, cuts the ring off, and Wahoo takes the majority of the early part of the match, takes the man down, and gets as much aggression as he can. Um, some basic chops and other basic things. Piper then manages to hit a couple of hard shots, and Piper stands toe to toe with Timms. Timms comes back with him a little bit and brawls with Piper, which obviously for anyone that knows Roddy Piper, not exactly the best of situation. Dalton comes in, tries to get the tag, does not get the tag the way he wants to, and we see a cutoff, and ultimately, basic stuff there. Um, Piper tags back to Wahoo. Wahoo hits hard chops in the corner. Not a big surprise. Wahoo hitting chops. Big surprise there. And ultimately tying up both men. And the baby faces obviously get the victory. We go to another of the series of matches. This time, Paul Jones. Paul Jones has been Mid Atlantic champion before. Paul Jones has been on top of the world before. Paul Jones is facing off against Keith Larson in an enhancement match, as it were, and basic there. Larson actually looks pretty good for the first couple of minutes, stays in position for top hammerlocks and other basic maneuvers. Jones takes him out, and they start to do the number one Paul Jones thing here. Figure four leg lock, borrowed obviously from Greg Valentine, and Jones getting the victory there. Oliver Humperdinck coming in and giving his man support. An endorsement from Wahoo McDaniel to Mike Rotundo, basically endorsing how hard he's fighting and showing a friendship there. Rotundo needs extra babyface stuff, and he's challenging Leroy Brown, who's been in and out of the territory. I think Leroy probably went to Florida or Georgia at the time, because Leroy doing the majority of the Southern Circuit, but disappears for weeks at a time. Also, we see the challenge as Leroy does return. Challenge finally accepted. Leroy Brown and Mike Rotundo will do battle in the weeks to come. We go to the match, and Rotundo is already in the ring. There is the distraction there. Mike Rotundo defeats Mike Reed. Mike Reed here only, I think, for one television. I don't remember him showing up for another, so maybe he's just passing through and looking for extra work. Rotundo hanging on to the headlock, basic maneuvers there. Does not get what he needs out of things, but Reed is taken down relatively quickly, and then suplex among other things, and he gets a victory there. And Bad Leroy Brown tries to take out Rotundo post-match and basically says that he will end Rotundo. Reed, I believe, or Brown, I believe, has picked up the television championship by this point, as there are too many championships in the area. Valentine wants to get rid of Wahoo, wants to side with Flair, wants to support the coming of Flair, and that seems to be a major thing too. Flair always treated with respect when he does come to town. We go into another in the $100,000 challenge matches as as Joe LeDuc and Dory Funk Jr. Face off against King Parson and Abe Jacobs. This is not the $100,000 challenge match, but it is endorsed throughout, which is where things are there. Odd to see a team like LeDuc and Funk. Jacobs kind of trying to brawl with LeDuc, not exactly the smartest of things there. The lunging forearm by Joss LeDuc is a major deal, and he hooks up on a front face lock. Obviously, Funk comes back in, tries to get more of a collegiate-style wrestling thing going, doesn't get everything he wants, but does get enough to get things going in his general direction. Tag off, and Jacobs comes back in, and LeDuc tries to hang with him, but just kicks him off and really basic maneuvers. Joss LeDuc manages to be in control. Challenge of the team of Porkchop Cash and Ron Ritchie, willing to make tag team challenges going forward. Ron Ritchie, relatively well known in the area, been around on and off for a couple of years at this point. And then we see Porkchop Cash and Ron Ritchie versus Slaughter and Kernoodle as the final match of the show. Slaughter and Kernoodle, of course, your tag team champions. They are chasing off with obviously Youngblood and Steamboat, but that match those matches series have not begun. They begin very late in the year, within the next few weeks, though, obviously, as we are in October. Cut off by Slaughter. Slaughter manages a bunch of forearms, punches, kicks, basic stuff. Slaughter and Ritchie has him under control. Porkchop Cash comes in and cleans house for a little while, but does not get a victory there. Kernoodle comes in and has a spirited wrestling contest with Ron Ritchie for a couple minutes there. Porkchop Cash, who has been a former tag team champion with Leroy Brown back before Brown joined Humperdinck, has been known for championship acumen before. Top rope clothesline second rope clothesline gets a victory for the team, and Humperdinck basically challenges anybody to challenge Josh LeDuc, and number one Paul Jones wants the Mid-Atlantic Championship, and we close on that basis. We'll be back with more right after this.